So the Miami Dolphins have now gotten in trouble for tampering, not just with former New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton, but also with current Tampa Bay Buccaneers, former New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady. There were two separate instances, at least in the case of Tom Brady, where the Miami Dolphins had some level of discussions with him, first with the New England Patriots back in the 2019-2020 season, then with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the most recent 2021 season, where the Dolphins had talked to Tom Brady about the possible idea of him joining the team as a partial owner, as a team executive, and possibly even playing quarterback for the team as well. This has led plenty of Bucs fans to freak out for a lot of different reasons, saying that Tom Brady is going to be affected by this recent news that has come out recently, that he has betrayed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and so many other different thoughts and opinions. I have with me Evan Wanish of NotJustBucsNation.com, where he is a colleague of mine, but also the co-host of the Cannon Fire podcast. Evan, what the heck is going on here, man? Because the internet is freaking out right now.
Yeah, I mean, you explained the situation the best. It's something that was not really recent, but kind of recent. We were talking earlier, and so the Dolphins tried to talk to Tom Brady in 2019, right? The 2019 season. They knew Tom Brady was a free agent in 2020, and we just said, man, if you wanted Tom Brady so bad, why didn't you just go try and sign him? That's what didn't make much sense to me. So they didn't try and sign him. Tom Brady signs with the Buccaneers. The Dolphins draft Tua, I believe, 5th overall or 6th overall that year. And then time goes by, 2020, nothing happens. Then 2021, apparently, they reach out to Brady yet again. Now, I mean, we don't know. Some people I've seen on the internet, a lot of people think that, like, oh, the Brady and Dolphins, like, they've been talking for this and this and this. It could have just been once. Like, we don't know how many times it was, but one time is a violation. Like, and when any time a player's under contract, another team cannot talk to that player. So it's a steep punishment. It is a steep punishment, forfeiting a first-round pick next year and a 2024 third-round pick. That's steep. I mean, that is a steep punishment. And obviously, the Dolphins owner Stephen Ross has been suspended since, I think, October 17th or something. So
fined $1.5 million as well. Another executive for the Dolphins was also fined $500,000. So the penalties for the Miami Dolphins have been very steep, Evan. But let me ask you this, right? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady, they are not at fault here, right? This has all of its entirety to do with the Miami Dolphins. People who are freaking out saying, is Tom Brady going to get suspended, or is he going to get fined, all these other different types of things. No, that's not the case. This has nothing to do with Tom Brady. This all has to do with the Miami Dolphins violating the tampering policies that the NFL has twice. Technically 3 times if you want to throw the Sean Payton situation in there as well. So this isn't a betrayal, in my opinion, from Tom Brady. The Miami Dolphins, I imagine, were the ones who approached Tom Brady about this situation in the first place. A similar thing was done with Sean Payton. So I just don't get where people are saying this, Evan. And I don't mean this for a bias or anything along those lines, but it's a genuine question as to why people now feel Tom Brady doesn't want to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He came out of retirement to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What are your thoughts and opinions on some of those thoughts that have been coming around?
Well, I mean, he's practicing, ain't he? You know,
yeah.
He's in the building every day. He's assured the Bucs that he is a Buccaneer, you know, for the 2022 season. And the thing is, it was always going to be complicated for the Dolphins because Tom Brady was under contract with the Buccaneers for 2022. Yes, it was technically a contract extension in the offseason to help with salary cap and stuff, but it was still, he was under contract. It wasn't like a fake year or a void year. It was a legit year, and this is that year. So if the Dolphins wanted Tom Brady, they were going to have to trade for him. And it just seemed like you said, it did seem like the Dolphins approached Tom Brady. It's not like Tom Brady went to the Dolphins and said, hey, get me out of here, right? Like, right. It's not like he approached him twice, get me out of New England, and then a year after being in Tampa said, get me out of Tampa. But I think it seems like, we were talking earlier, it seemed like the Dolphins wanted to trade for Tom Brady and Sean Payton, who, by the way, this is important to note, they share the same agent. Don Yee is both Tom Brady and Sean Payton's agent. So it seemed like the Dolphins wanted to trade for them, but wanted like 5th and 6th round picks to get to go back. In which case the Buccaneers and Bruce Arians, who's the head coach at the time, you were in on that press conference at the Combine when he said, it's bad business. He said, I think he said like 4 first-round picks or something it would take to trade for Tom Brady's rights. And I don't think this means, Tom Brady's head isn't in it. Tom Brady, his heart isn't in it. He doesn't want to be in Tampa. Look, whether he wants to be in Tampa or not, he's not going to let that affect his play, right? He knows that if he knows the way last season ended, right? I think it left a sour taste in everybody's mouth, and then the whole retirement thing and unretiring thing. He doesn't want to end his time in the NFL potentially, that way. So he wants to go out on a high note, and he's always been a perfectionist. Like, he's gonna look to be great. It doesn't matter where he is. I do think he wants to be in Tampa right now. If he really didn't want to be in Tampa, he could have just stayed retired.
We never heard word of a trade request from Tom Brady. Nothing along those lines.
He could have done that also, yeah.
Right. None of that was ever coming out. And trust me, folks, it would have came out, right? For them to say, it's behind closed doors. No, that's not the fact. If Tom Brady requests a trade or tries to force his way out of a team, you'd be hearing about it.
And it would have happened.
Right.
It would have happened. If Tom Brady came to the Bucs and said, hey, I want out, he would have been traded. But, the tough thing is that the Bucs are in a tough spot, right? And the Bucs fans feel like they're in a tough spot because they feel like they're essentially kind of being cheated on a little bit. That's not the word I would describe, though. Because like you said, it wasn't Brady who's saying, please get me. I think it's more on the organization, the Dolphins organization, I should say. And it's a distraction, sure, but Tom Brady's moved on. That was months ago. And he's ready to play football now. Like, it does make it a little awkward. I think Greg Allman tweeted this, that the Dolphins are actually having joint practices with the Buccaneers next week ahead of the preseason game on August 13th. That'll make it a little bit awkward, but trust me, Brady's ready to win games for the Buccaneers in 2022. After that, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows whether Brady retires, whether he moves on with another team, whether he returns to Tampa Bay. After that, we don't know. But for now, Brady's a Buccaneer, and it's going to stay that way.
Yeah, it just seems like this is probably all in the, this was all maybe a creation of the mind of Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins. You got to think, too, the head coach of the Dolphins has got to feel a little awkward now, right? He wasn't, the Dolphins' first option. They wanted Sean Payton, so that's another thing to factor in there. There isn't some grand betrayal of Tom Brady to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Buccaneers fan base. No, if anything, I think it's just the Dolphins being a little bit of a dumb franchise in terms of what their expectations were in terms of trying to get guys like Tom Brady and Sean Payton. And I get it. These types of things do happen in the league from time to time, but Dolphins didn't necessarily handle either one of these situations with the smartest route. Like you said, if they really would have wanted Tom Brady, they could have gotten him whenever he was in free agency.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with the Patriots, right? I don't see many Patriots fans saying, Tom Brady's head wasn't in it, I haven't really seen that much.
No.
Because I think a lot of people realize, especially from New England, obviously, they've seen him so many years. They know what kind of person he is, what kind of competitor he is, and, did he talk to the Dolphins? Maybe. Was it once? Sure, maybe. Like I said, even if it's once, that's a violation. So it's not like, I don't know, right? This is speculation, but it's not like, he was talking to the Dolphins once a week. He was trying to get there. Once is a violation. So that's where this could have came from. And we probably won't know. We probably won't really ever know that. But Brady is a Buccaneer. If he wanted to not be a Buccaneer, he could have made that happen.
Yeah, and folks, at the end of the day, the point of this video is really just to clarify some of those things. And to say at the end of the day, Tom Brady's not in trouble. Nope. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers aren't in trouble. The Miami Dolphins are the ones who were screwed, in terms of the decisions that they made in terms of tampering and things along those lines. Has nothing to do with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Has a little bit to do with Tom Brady, but it's not necessarily something that he is responsible for. He's not responsible for what the Miami Dolphins do in terms of tampering and things along those lines. It has nothing to do with Brady at the end of the day. So I understand why people are a little bit confused, maybe a little bit upset. I don't necessarily get that 100% because, folks, at the end of the day, Tom Brady's here. He's here. He's going to be here. That's the way things are. They're not changing. Tom Brady doesn't, want to leave the Buccaneers right now and go play. He's locked in. He has said that multiple times, and you just got to take him at his word at this point and just kind of roll with it. That's all we can do right now. There's no big betrayal, in my opinion. Tom Brady won this team a Super Bowl. How is that a betrayal, right? That's just the kind of the way I look at things right now, Evan. So, yeah, just hopefully give a little bit more clarity to that situation. Let us know your guys' thoughts and opinions about all of this down in the comment section below. We would love to hear them. Evan, thank you so much for being on. Greatly appreciated. Go subscribe to the Cannon Fire podcast here on YouTube. That would also be greatly appreciated. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.